Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Oh, it's that time again. We in the garage, new schoolers. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means? Calling Casabon. We're going to start giving flowers. We're doing it with who tonight? Kaya Turski. It's going to be wicked. So we call in Phil. We just type in here, say giving flowers. Boom, bomb, connects.
Connection. How you doing, Eric?
Oh, man, just typing in this thing that I'm going to pin.
You
How
kept
are
some
you?
good fresh, man. I ain't seen that one ever yet.
You've seen it once, man. It's my favorite.
Oh,
Turkey.
true. Yeah,
And then we got
there's a
you.
little bit of pink in there. Damn.
How do I tag some or like pin it?
You click on it and hold it.
All right, man. Let's show these people some clips and then we'll get started.
Y'all ready, people? It's Kaya Turski right here. What you smoking on, Eric? Yeah.
That Dark Horse
Back.
Farm. Dark Horse Farms every week. Big
Shout
up
out Ross Jacob.
Yeah, man. Give thanks for all the people tuning in, man. We like, I don't know. We got to be close to show 20. I think we're close. We got it again. Big up New Schooler. Give thanks for the platform to educate you guys. Give this awesome support.
You know y'all sitting with skiing's most notorious historian in the game in front of you, blowing smoke. Eric Iberg.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. So tonight, there's no need to introduce her, really, but still, got to put her on some sort of pedestal because y'all might not know she went back to back to back to back to back on X Games gold.
It's a lot of back-to-back.
Yeah, every year, basically dominated. Even coming back from knee reconstruction, surgeries, 4 times shoulders, all the body. She's made of steel, literally and metaphorically. A real gem for athletic sports in general in a life. Who we got on Iberg tonight?
Ms. Kaya fucking Turski. So we gonna give her a call. Man, there's already people wanting to call in. Oh, and Kaya, we're accepting it. Let's see if that works, Kaya. You're on top of it. If this works that quick, that's crazy. I always thought I had to call. Oh, boom, bomb.
Hey guys,
Hi, Kaya.
thanks for having me. It's great.
Welcome on the show. It's
Thanks for
honor
coming.
to host you.
Thank you so much. It's been a minute. Nice to see you guys.
Been a decade, I'd say.
Yeah. It's probably maybe less, maybe about that.
Pretty crazy. Well, Kaya, I'm gonna start first by just for people that are watching and everything. Have you ever seen one of these shows?
Yeah, I've tuned in to a little bit. I watched the Yannick one, which I'm a fan. I'm a big fan of it. So yeah.
As are we. So the point of this show, why Phil and I wanted to do it, was the fact that like we always talk about skiing. You got other stuff going on other than just the skiing stuff, for sure. And we always get stoked on everything. And like we realize there's so many awesome people in the sport that have done so many awesome things. Like I've always wanted to create a Hall of Fame, but that's a little bit of a mission and probably unrealistic for the sport. You know, and so like when we're doing it, we're like, man, we should celebrate these people. And so we thought about a way, and we're like, man, maybe if we just do this show and use Phil's platform and now Phil's platform, like we can teach some history and at the same time, like, celebrate you guys and give thanks for you for everything you did for the sport, because everyone we had on the show, the list is so long of what they brought for the sport, and you are one of them. You're at the top of the list of the females, and like, yeah, so we're here to celebrate you for as long as you talk with us tonight and just say thanks for everything you did. So that's the point of this show. So thanks a lot for coming. Sure.
Cool. That's great. I mean, it's an honor. Really, I appreciate your words. And, yeah, it's really an honor. And I think what you guys are doing is really cool. And
so Kaya, got to stop you quick. I don't know if you have your phone set on a computer or if it's on something, but you got the feedback going on.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Let me see if my AirPods are around. 1 second.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
No worries.
We got verses for days. We could go rapping, battle rapping right here, me and Eric, toe to toe.
And for those of you who don't know, we actually have a rap group. It's called Nada, New Age Digital Artist. And we got a couple crew members. But we'll tell you more about that later. But
the show must go on.
Sure,
yeah, Kaya, so better. Just to inform the public here, everybody that's unfamiliar, and also ourselves, it'd be nice to for you to tell us where you grew up and how you got into skiing, and also if you don't mind kicking it back to the roots, like your Polish roots.
Yeah, for sure.
Not Polish.
Polish.
My polished Polish roots. Now, so I grew up in Montreal. I was born and raised here, and my parents are from Poland, both of them. So I'm first generation Canadian, representing my Polish roots. And I was born and raised here, rollerbladed for most of my life in Montreal, and then only started skiing at the end of high school. So that's kind of the beginning.
I have a question. How, as a Polish kid, how do you end up with the name Kaya? Because I'm guessing that's not Polish.
No, it's funny because traveling so much in the world, there's actually so many different meanings for Kaya all over the world. But one of the very common ones, as we know, is for marijuana. No, it's not Polish. It's actually just kind of a nickname that I got really soon after I was born. It's actually my middle name, and my first name is Hannah.
What?
So that's the Polish roots. Yep, Hannah Kaya.
Wow, I never knew you had a different name. That's like Kaya is like your stage name.
I know, but yes, but I've always been called Kaya, like since I was 3 years old, so I consider it my name.
Do you have anyone in your life that calls you Hannah?
Nope, nobody calls me Hannah. Just sometimes in school, or on government documents, or like school where professor had like hundreds of students. It was just Hannah. It was easier to keep it, but I've always gone by Kaya.
Okay, we already learned something new.
Yeah.
So Phil, we thought her grandma came over, right? So now we learned she's first generation Quebecois. So that was new too. Yeah. That was fun. Like the funnest part about this guy is Phil does research. I want to big up Phil right now. Like he went hardcore. He might have watched and listened to every one of your podcasts. Like for me, I want to start like this. I want to start right away because of when you came in to big you up on like coming into the industry. And I'm going to come out with a bang right now, Phil. Maybe I'm ahead of schedule, but it was nuts. So I would say you came in fall of 06 or summer of 06, something. So for those of you who don't know, Kaya came out of nowhere, and I got to know about you, Felix, because I got to work with Felix in the past at D-Structure. Big up Felix, D-Structure, Phil Bellinger, all the crew. So I got to learn about like who you were, and all of a sudden, no way. And then Felix was working with Solomon, and then that summer you got an ad of a Twitch 1080, right? Like down in New Zealand. Your first fucking year skiing, okay? So what I want to say all this to you because you were so epic. In 2006, women's skiing was pretty stagnant, like really stagnant. Like even when you did the Twitch 10, like I remember showing Sarah that. I'm like, Sarah, remember when you did it 8 years ago? Like it only took 8 years to do it Twitch. And so it was fun, like to have that conversation. But like you came out of nowhere. You set the bar so high and it was like, holy shit, no one's ever seen anything like this. And then you had your injury that fall, or was it that fall, or was it a year after?
So I was injured both years. So that fall, I had my really big, like life-threatening pancreatic injury.
So that was just to get that clear, your life-threatening injury was your very first season skiing.
Yes, my very first season skiing, my very first year, same year, signed as a pro, my very first event ever competing as a professional. After Solomon signed me that summer, went to New Zealand. Then I went. The next event was the Icer Air, where
That's
I
the most
almost
fucked
died.
up first event to ever do in the history of any human being could ever do a event for their first event.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, the journey has been insane, and it was a long journey to recover. I still like I'll always be affected by that injury. And then just kind of because I wasn't well versed and understanding of training, like I recovered from that, but didn't really train, just came back and just blew my knee right away. So I was out for my first 2 seasons, my first 2 years of skiing, I was out from 2 major injuries.
You still got some really bad feedback when you talk. I think it's
I don't know.
Maybe just
But
talk. Talk.
Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 up front for 3 months plus taxes and fees. Promo rate for new customers for limited time. Unlimited more than 40 gigabytes per month. Slows full terms at mintmobile.com.
Can't hear you.
Oh no! She hit the eject button. She was over it.
Oh, blasted out.
Oh, you even went out of range. You're back.
I did. I don't know why it's doing this.
Technology.
How about now? Is it better now?
Yes.
Yeah, so much.
Good. Great. Sorry about that, guys.
Boom.
I want to go back a little before, because I heard about you before you got into skiing and you came out switched 1080 as man. But how did you even get into skiing? You came from rollerblading, and then all of a sudden you show up on a skiing and I'll say it, you're the best. The day you put on skis, no one else did a switch 1080. You came into a sport and did something no one else did. That's kind of nuts to think about. How many girls were involved? How long it was actually So how did you discover skiing, and how did you even want to get involved in freestyle twin tip professional skiing?
Yeah, so I've been a rollerblader for my whole life, and I still consider myself a rollerblader through and through. I grew up in the skate park. We had a really dope skate park called Kaz. In Montreal. It was one of the best in Canada. Is the echo better? I don't know what it is, because I'm holding my phone and there's nothing bouncing. I'm so sorry.
No worries. We still
be?
hear all the stories. That's the important part.
I just wonder what it could be. But yeah, so I basically lived and breathed at the skate park and spent my whole life there, oh my God, now I'm getting so thrown off at the echo.
Oh, you hear your own echo?
Yeah, I hear it. I don't know what's going on. Should I call back in?
That sounds perfect right now.
Should we try?
Well, no, right now it's good.
Okay. So I'll keep it like this. So yeah, so I grew up rollerblading, skate park and street, loved it. I mean, I adored it. And it was like a labor of love. Like there was no money in it. There was no support. It was just like pure love. So I spent the first like 13, 14 years of my life basically just breathing that. And
So I
then
want to go to rollerblading quick because I love like rollerblading. Do you know who Shane Nelson is?
Who?
Shane Nelson.
I
So
don't know.
Shane Nelson was part of a group. Was he Scribe in? No, he's United Urethane. So he was big in the 90s, peak and stuff. But my link is I grew up skiing with him, and he's actually a guy who edited all my movies. And so like that was my connection, like kind of going through. So it's kind of fun when you see someone, especially your generation, a girl, and also in the early 2000s. Like I think there was Fabio Silva or something, and that was like the only girl who did it in the world. So like I guess I'm interested too on your inline skating because to even get motivated to do that as a girl had to be a bizarre thing as a youth, as a Quebecer.
For sure. Like my whole crew it was all the boys. There's one other girl. And Fab, yeah, like was my hero, my idol. And she's still incredible. So yeah, I did that, and I was sponsored by D-Structure, which some of you might know. I know you guys are involved, and which is a shop in Montreal, now Quebec City. And it's a rollerblade and ski shop. So they invited me to this ski event, a ski jam. After this ends, so I'm going to call back in. But yeah, so they invited me. Rollerblading was kind of slowing down in my life, like not many events, nothing really going on. And so I went to this event, the ski jam, and tried skiing. And like, obviously I was like a shit show, like just skiing on snow, like didn't really know what I was doing. But in the snow park, like the tricks really translated well because it was all the same stuff or very similar, the balance, the air awareness, the technicality. And so I could make sense of things. So it was like something clicked in me and was like, wow, like this could be a lot of fun. Like I had a base of skiing from like, I skied when I was 5 for a few years. So I like kind of knew what I was doing and I was like, why not give this a go, So after high school, I just decided, or during high school, I was like, when I graduate, I'm going to move out to Whistler on my own, like convince my parents to let me do this, and just like went out there and had skied maybe twice in the last decade, like that year, and just gave it a go. And it really picked up very quickly for me.
Yeah, that's it.
Where was that first event that you partook? Was that in Killington?
Yeah, exactly. In Killington. That's right. Yeah. So I flew back. I went in January and I flew back in March to a rail jam. And I won the rail jam against Kim Lamar. And I remember her being really pissed off. I called her earlier and like tried to convince her to come on, but she couldn't make it on the call. But pretty funny. Anyway, so I won that. And then oh yeah, no wait, that was a rail jam in December. Sorry, Killington was the Vermont Open in March. Yes, so that was my first slope event, and I won that. And then things just picked up from there.
Did you know anyone? Like, did you know Kim before you beat her?
No, I'd met her at this rail jam that D-Structure organized. I'd met her because they obviously had like their ski team there, and she skied for D-Structure. But we were basically introduced as like, hey, like we're both K names. We're both the exact same age, same month. And it's like, hey, like you guys are like each other's counterpart in like rollerblade ski. That's how we were introduced. Yannick was there. That's where I met Yannick, like some of the like OG Quebecer skiers.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were talking today with Kim. Like Phil and I were talking, and I was like, man, like I think Kim's older. For the fact I knew her, like, because Phil I'd known since he was 13 when he got his 3 pair of skis, right? And so we realized Kim was the same thing. Like, she's been on Armada for like 20 years as well. Like, her and Phil are like the same dopeness of Quebec level with Armada.
Absolutely.
So big up beating Kim right away because she was kind of like the little protege.
Yep.
Shouts to Kim and Yannick B, who I saw in the
Shout
concert
outs to Kim.
earlier.
She's actually heading to Montreal right now. I'll be seeing her soon.
Yes.
Yeah, she's cool. She's good stuff. She comes here to play poker.
She's
True. Big in the poker game.
Yeah.
So here, Kaya, at the very top of the pyramid of needs of giving flowers beyond self-actualization, we got style. Hit us with your description of style, please.
My description of my style?
Sure. Yeah, your style.
My style is, I want it to come across as laid back, comfortable. Definitely, I prefer to make things look better and just casual rather than like very forced. So I think that's the pillar for me, is just like comfortable, confident, and yeah, somewhat casual. That's how I would describe my style.
I got a random one. I go back. Was skiing easier for you than rollerblading?
No, I don't think so.
Did it hurt as much? Because what I bugged out on, why I was like, man, like this girl's done. Because with Philip, we always talk about like being able to crash makes you the best skier. Because if you know how to crash, you keep going. And as a rollerblader or a skateboarder, or you're fucked. And as you watch all your segments, you're not even wearing a helmet in 2005 in your inline shit. And so when I watched it and I saw you come, I'm like, man, it's got to be so fun for her, like to land on like things where you slide and you don't grip, things that don't rip or bounce certain ways. And so I always bugged out, like, and I don't know you that well, but I got to watch from afar, fan. But to me, I was like, wow, man, like every other girl's so scared, you know, and like you came in it without like the fear of like, because certain consequences weren't as big, you know. I don't know. That's just from outside. I was curious how you saw it, like transforming from urban concrete sport to snow time.
Yeah, for sure. So I've heard this many a time. Like people always say this to me. It's like, wow, like must be so easy compared to rollerblading because like it's not as hard, it's not as gnarly to land on concrete versus snow, or snow versus concrete. I don't know. I would say honestly, I wouldn't say skiing is easier at all.
I didn't think it was easier. I'm saying for you, like, did it come like, we looked at things, because things have to be bigger in skiing. Like a jump's bigger than you're going to do on rollerblade, or a rail could be bigger. So I'm not saying it's easier. I'm saying when you looked at consequences, like going into something, maybe you see it, but no, you say it's just hard.
Well, I maybe at the beginning, like before I completely wrecked my body, I really just would hug anything, you know, I would try anything. Cause yeah, landing in slush, especially like spring skiing was amazing. But you know, I think I learned pretty quickly, as we've discussed, like I got injured really early on, like because the distances are so much greater, the impact is so much greater. And my body, as much as I like had a lot of bruises and scrapes growing up, never had like torn ligaments, you know, and that's where I really worked myself in skiing, is like because of the torque and impact that really was hard on my body. So I didn't, you know, mid-career, I didn't consider it more mellow.
Yeah, I guess you destroyed yourself very fast to like get that idea out of your head.
I got that out of the way, yeah.
Were you competing in the rollerblade world at all?
Yeah, so I competed at these events called ASA, Aggressive Skaters Association, and they were usually like national or in USA and Canada, like somewhat international. And that was the scope of my competing. But they were, I mean, I'd say they were international. People from all over came. Yeah, I competed in that.
Okay, we were talking today, wondering how the polarity, but this makes more sense because you came into skiing from a rollerblading background and was heavy into filming parts. Like you had solid video segments in rollerblading, came into skiing and attacked the competition world like hard, and focus a bit less on filming. Regardless, your filming in skiing was very powerful, quality over quantity, yet again. But still, how was that like going into the competitive world of skiing rather than like the mediatic aspect?
And I want to say something quick, Kai. I want to big you up on this because I was saying to Phil, like in skiing, everyone has to kind of win something before you can go become a film skier, right? You have to even Phil, like he was dominating contests before he totally became a film skier. And when I watched your career and you type in your name on YouTube and all your rollerblade segments and then your ski contests, I was like, yo, no one ever made segments first. And so like I thought that was so cool, like as far as you being able to not only make segments but then do it in a crossover sport and come in and be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this because I can and because I love it, not because I want to go film. So
Totally.
they big up yourself on that because no one's ever gone from a film world to a contest world and dominated. Only you.
Right on. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I did do a lot of filming, much more than competing in rollerblading. Then in skiing, it was, yeah, just like back to back to back to back events. I think I love aspects of both. And I think I've always had a very competitive nature. So I really loved competing in skiing, even if I hadn't done nearly as much in my rollerblade career. So yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny because my co-competitors would say I'm like complete neurotic case, like so nervous in the start gate, like not thriving. But like somehow like in the moment I would pull together and I just like I lived for those moments. Like when it like all like quote unquote mattered, like can you like put it on? And so
How would you be like if you dominated, go back to back, back to back to back to back X Games champs? Like, how are you freaking out? Like, how is your fellow competitors saying you're a head case when you're beating? That's weird.
I'm still the head case. I was just super nervous, but I just like could gather myself like in the moment. But yeah, whatever. Like we all have our systems up in the start gate. Like, like, oh, that girl's like, she's screaming in the woods and one's like hugging a tree and like, don't talk to Kaya because like she's stressed. Like, we've all got our ways. And yeah, I was a bit more on the nervous side, but ultimately I really love competing and I love that thrill that you feel in the start gate. And something I think I miss the most after having left ski. So yeah, I thrived in that.
We got Phil.
Yeah. So like you were in Mammoth, moved there, and close to Los Angeles. At some point in Los Angeles, you had access to the Red Bull factory, the whole like La La Land of Red Bull. And one thing they provided was a sports psychologist. And Michael Gervais, is he the same Michael Gervais, the host of the podcast Mastery?
Yes, that's him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love his show. And so I was wondering if you could hit us with a Jedi mind trick that he's thought you maybe that stuck out.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I worked with Mike from like 2011 on, and I loved my work with him. And it's something that really inspired me to go on and study psychology after skiing. Mike and I just like, I'd never worked with a therapist before. Like I'd never been really open person. And so when I met Mike, it was like I was such a stress case just meeting him, And so one of the things that like really helped me was just like he gave me a book about like the present moment, and like we really just worked on like centering, grounding, like becoming present, being in the moment. He taught me a lot of like different meditations. And I think honestly, like just meditating, just learning to calm my mind when, when it seemed like everything was quote unquote on the line. Kind of also challenging your thoughts. Like in the Stargate, for example, like your mind's running, you're watching other people's runs, maybe not. You're still like you can spiral, right? Oh my God, he landed this. Like, what am I going to do? Like, you can spiral and it's not going to do anything for you, And I think in
Oh no.
those moments, like have the presence of, you there? You guys there?
Yeah, you kind of get in and out there.
Just in those moments to have like the presence of mind to like catch it and be like, okay, like and then to do reminders, right? So like instead of like spiraling away, you like bring yourself back to the moment. You can question yourself. Well, like what am I going to learn, right here, right now in the next 30 seconds while I wait for my run or next 10 minutes, like nothing, so like I'm not going to change my run up. Also, like I've trained 10,000, 30,000 hours for this, like, and just like bringing yourself back. And so these like meditative techniques, breathing techniques, like it's simple, it's cliche, but it's like really works gold.
True.
Yeah.
Well said. Yeah, stillness. Be still up there and don't panic for sure.
Yep, stillness.
I want to go back to the beginning. So, like, what were you most stoked on when you got into skiing? Because you came from another sport, another culture, another way. Like you just had groups, you had crews. But like, was there anything when you got into skiing where you're like, "Oh, this is really fucking awesome"?
I mean, honestly, like I love the freedom that skis afforded me. So like in terms of like freedom on the mountain, just like you're like, you're literally on top of the world, and like you can ski down this way or that way, ski however you feel, and it's just like you get to just express yourself out there in like the purest form. Feels like whereas rollerblading was a little more contained, in a skate park. So yeah, I love the openness and freedom of skiing. I also really loved like how much airtime I could get, and just like because I love flying, like I just have always considered myself a bird. So that's like I loved the speed and I loved the air. And then in terms of like my ski career picking up, like I think one of the things that I like look back on and value the most is how much I was able to travel. And like, so in that sense, like another kind of definition of freedom that like, or like just like the open road. Like I love just like getting in my car, driving across the US, like to different events, flying across the world. I love that freedom.
Do you have anything that you thought was kind of whack when you got into skiing, being from outside totally and then being throughout the middle of a whole kind of culture that was already established?
I mean, I don't want to sound offensive, but, and I think it's, yeah, one of the differences, I think skiing, it has a lot more money in it. You need to have significant funds to buy yourself the equipment, to buy passes. Whereas in rollerblading, the skates themselves can be pretty expensive, but like you can go out and like skate a ledge or like it's, you don't need much.
Yeah.
And so skiing was a bit of a different crowd, at least in general. But I wouldn't say that the crowd, like the people that I met, were snobby or anything. I just think that like overall it's a bit of a different crowd,
For sure it is. That's what
more
affluence, because you come from an urban environment.
Yeah.
And then you go, so it's like, it's so different because like I always bug out with Phil. I'm like, skiing's so special because like we saw someone skate by our house, take a soccer ball by our house, beat them up, steal their thing, and become the best in the world by playing with their toy. In skiing or snowboarding, you'd have to go find snow, climb up a mountain, punch someone, hope those boots fit, and then know how to do it. Like, you just would be frustrated. Like, so it's a very special and privileged idea to even get access to this world, I guess. And so, yeah, I was just kind of interested because you were fully in one world and then you jumped into fully at the highest level because there was established girl crews already. Or I don't know if there was girl crew rollerblading even at the time, but
Much smaller.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I want to make a really big point, like about this icer that you broke yourself out on as your first event. This is how Kaya started her career, and like it's not a normal thing. Like I want to touch like you almost die, and the fact that like we can't make something small about this because like it's fucked up. So to introduce yourself to a sport almost at the closest level to almost kill yourself of anyone I've known in 20 years of the sport, and then come back and dominate. No one's done that either. So I want to make sure you know how big a deal that is and how much it's respected. Because like I don't know where you posted those pictures from. Maybe Kim Lamar posted them. Now as her friend on MySpace or something. But when she posted the pictures of your open shit, I still have it burned in my head. And like it's like and to go through that. So anyone who doesn't know, like I'll try to make it quick, like short, but like it was something like what you ripped like 2 layers of your aorta. You would have ripped your third, you would have died. Am I on that one?
I think that's a rumor.
Okay, thank you.
I cut my pancreas in half.
Okay.
Yeah. So I basically just hit so hard that like nothing penetrated me, nothing cut inside of me, but I hit so hard that my pancreas, which is this like very important digestive organ, it just sliced right in half over my spine. And so like right away, like at first I thought I'd just broken my ribs. Like I was just like, obviously I wasn't knocked out, but I just thought I'd like shattered all my ribs, you know, like something had gone really wrong, couldn't breathe. Right away, like in the ambulance, like I start coughing blood. So they're like, okay, this is really serious, like internal injury. So right off the bat, I was like very heavily sedated. I had 3 surgeries. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks in San Francisco. The first week was intensive care. So from what I remember, you know, waking up, like, I mean, I have tubes all down my throat. I have like machines on all sides of me. Like they couldn't find veins anymore. They were like poking my feet, my legs. Like I was really in dire shape. And because it's such a major digestive organ, I was just very, very sick for a long time. And then, yeah, the picture you saw, which was horrific, but
The worst thing I ever have visually burned into my brain.
I know I think it's probably burned into a lot of people's brains, but yeah, it got infected, my incision, because it was like probably because it was like one that's a fluke thing, like just bad luck. So bad luck continued, but also like it was such an emergency surgery, like so yeah, that really kind of took my recovery back a long ways. And I was told, you know, that I might not even ever ski again. Like I didn't know, they didn't know really how to recover. So, you know, the fact that I'm here today and I can look back on a full career was crazy, you know?
Crazy. Like it's crazy. It's the craziest thing ever. The fact that you're here is me. Wow. You know, like that should be alone a superstar, but the fact that you went and dominated something at such a high level, at the highest level internationally, wicked content. Like really, 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 really wicked. Like I don't even know how you come back mentally on that, where you're just like, well, I have a second chance. Life's all good. Let's go dominate this shit again. You know, like, but either way, you have to overcome it, and you did. So like the sports psychology thing, like man, like you can preach it because you lived it. You know, like you don't know what you should talk about, like, but you did it. So all you have to do is kind of follow that mentality, that drive, where you know if you wake up tomorrow, you have a chance, and then you go fucking put in maximum effort. So I don't know. That's what I got to see in you, and yeah, I just want to say
Thank you
and congrats and awesome. And I'm stoked you're still here. This is why we want to have
so much.
Because tomorrow's not promised, so we got to appreciate today and give thanks what we can.
It's true. Yes, thank you.
I'm sure while you're in there to intensive care and when you're conscious, your thoughts are just all over the place. But at that point, can you channel that Kaya and remember what you were thinking? And were you still thinking about going out and skiing and pursuing the career? When did that like sort of switch like turn on for you to keep going? Because you could have said like, fuck it, this is way too dangerous. Or did you just think like, I'm not going to do these types of events?
You know what? I don't think it deterred me even for a day. I don't know, which is crazy. Looking back, maybe um, people more sane would have thought twice, but I don't know. I spent every day of my rehab just like dreaming of coming back, and like I had so much more. I just felt like I had so much to offer. I had so much I wanted to do, and I was so fired up after having like had the summer and fall of my life in New Zealand. Got picked up by Solomon. Like it was like this was just the beginning, and so to think of like calling it quits then was like just a it's not even an option, and yeah, I don't know. It really had the reverse effect. It didn't scare me. It just like made me so much more passionate and fueled to come back stronger.
And you had an interesting scenario because since it was the very first contest, like the sponsor support had to be so high compared to like, because your biggest clause is you can be dropped if you're injured, right? As a subcontracted employee athlete. And so like to actually just sign you and then like be supportive, like to get back on track, like that had to be pretty amazing compared to a lot of people when they do get injured on year 3 or 4 plus their career. It then becomes like, are they going to come back? Is it worth it? Blah, blah, blah. So that's pretty awesome. The stars aligned on that, I think.
For sure. I'm really grateful for the support I had throughout all my injuries. Really, my sponsors were very generous and very helpful.
And you put yourself in a position to be helped as well. And concerning that, this you can just like slide over it if you don't want to talk about it. But I like I was researching the ICER Air and fell on like this court case. So was that ever a thing that you could like sue those guys, or how did that ever end somewhere?
Yes, it did. It happened. It ended. So what happened is I was insured when I went. First of all, well, yeah. So I was insured when I went, but when you get a massive bill, insurance companies will go, they'll do anything to argue it. So my bill from this injury was $200,000. I was presented with this lovely and frightening bill, and so what I ended up doing is I don't know, I guess suing for like for the hospital fees. Luckily, like we didn't have to go to court or anything. I just ended up, there were 5 parties involved, like the snowmakers, the builders, that, and it was proven that it was gross negligence, that it should have never happened, basically. And so I think those guys, all 5 parties, pretty quickly like settled, and just so like I never had to worry about the massive bill. And
so that happened pretty quick after the event. That wasn't a long-term thing after.
No, it just like, my recovery was happening first, and then a few months in, like we were dealing with that, and it didn't take very long.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They took care of that shit. Like when you really look at it, like the gap, like if anyone can look Ice Air 2006, the photos, the gap is ridiculous. The articles you'll read on is ridiculous of any athlete, skier, snowboarder that talk about hitting it. Like they put a circus net. So not only do you like come short, but you have to scare yourself and fall like 30 feet before a net hopefully catches you. And
they didn't even have the net up at the beginning.
No, they did not.
I swear. So someone could have fallen not 30 feet, but like whatever, 100. And Bev, one of the snowboarders, fell in the net right after they put it. Like so gnarly.
Wasn't it Jamie Anderson? The girl did
Was it Jamie? I thought it was a girl named Bev.
Okay. You probably know.
Anyway, just it's so crazy. Like, I almost died, but if someone fell in that hole, like they would have died,
And yours is from them putting 2x4s on the side so they can climb up with a narrow landing already. Like, yeah, it was the most ridiculous stuff I've seen in the history of our sport. Where you're like, man, that's just stupid.
Yeah, well, I was never invited back, but I would never have gone back.
True. Well, you bounced back like crazy from it, so congrats. Maybe you owe some of that to that event. Who knows? Like the fire it built up in you, maybe in those intensive care moments, might have served you pretty well. Those dark days might have created some light for you, and big up on using it to your advantage.
For sure. It's part of my story, you know.
So you did that fall 2006, but then you started your super dominance, what, like 2010?
2008 was like my full season back, I guess, but I didn't win X Games that year. I won some D tours, so it was like kind of the beginning. 2009 was a strong year, and then it really went off.
So what was it like coming back? I guess because you weren't filming segments, were you climbing the way you wanted to? Like, were you skiing the way you wanted to? Like, because that's a long time from injury to like being top. Like, that's almost 4 years. So I'm just wondering, I mean, that's a big drive. Like, know that, like, hey, this is what you do. You're not putting out the segments. You do have sponsor support, which is awesome. You are the out of all the girls. You know that. I mean, girls know that. So you have that mental going of it. But, like, what was it like in that 3-year time period before it? Like, was it a way? Were you up, or did you hit?
Honestly, I feel like I did so much imagery, like really so much visualization, that I tried. I don't know. I think I don't know if I progressed during that time, you know, that I was off, but certainly when I came back, I felt like I hadn't skipped a beat. You know, I put so much psychological effort into my training. So while I couldn't ski, I really was still working on it. And yeah, I felt I don't know if it was just like the hype coming back, but like I just picked up, you know, and obviously it took me, I was a bit rusty because I was 2 years fully off of snow, but I think it picked up pretty quickly.
And you had like something too of your era, like it was sweet because like a whole season, say you didn't win any event or only won one, you could open the back every month and see maybe 6 ads of yourself and maybe a photo, right? Because you had Skull Candy and Solomon and Oakley, maybe like all these people, like, so you still are accomplishing things as the athlete. I think it's fun to compare nowadays because, like, how are you going to get through these times? Situation happened now. Like, already you're like old news if you didn't post something yesterday. You know?
I know,
like,
it's crazy. Yeah, different time for sure, different era.
But no, that was pretty wicked too, just to see your steady climb back because everyone knew that you were there. So that had to be awesome too, because every guy and every girl in the sport knew how good you were. So when you lost, you only beat yourself. No one ever beat you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had some great support. My family and friends were always very supportive. My sponsors too, and you know, there were definitely some. What would you call them? I don't know. People who didn't believe, like logging on in the new schoolers message board. You know, like I'd see people talking all this shit about, oh, like Kai's not gonna make it back, like blah blah, and like I love that shit. Like I eat that stuff up. You know, it really fuels me. If there's one way to get me to do something is like to tell me I can't do it. So yeah, so to all
Who
those
was your biggest
who
person?
didn't believe, thank you so much.
Who?
I came back even better.
Who did you just say?
I said to all those who didn't believe, thank you very much. And I came back stronger.
Who are you wanting to beat most as a competitor? Like as a slopestyle person, right? That's your thing in 2007, 8 when you're coming back. Like who is it that you have to beat to be the best?
Well, Sarah was still competing in slope at that time, so as much as I idolized her, and I did very much, I really wanted to compete against her. And I don't know, maybe I idolized her so much I wanted to just be on podium with her, but she
That's the
was,
Sarah factor. As long as you like,
I
you're out,
know,
you
it's
like
just
win
gonna
if
be
you're last
close.
place with her. You're like, yes, I'm with
Totally,
Sarah. This is great. You did
totally.
really
It is
good
with
today,
Sarah.
Kaya. It's like Henrik. He's like, if you someone gives him a compliment, he's like, no, you. And Sarah's like, just like this, where like, you're the best. Today wasn't your day, Kaya. You're like, all right, I feel
Totally.
like winning. Big
A
up, Sarah.
beautiful effect. Yeah. Yeah. So Sarah, Greta Lyson was killing it then. Christy was still competing, I think, tail end. Michelle Parker. Those were the hot chicks back then.
And like for a while you had, or not to underminish like all the other women because everybody was killing, but you were definitely on a different plateau there for a while, like until like 2015 or 16. I don't know, like 8 years through. That's so much consistency. It's unmatched. Like in all genres of sport, like being a fan of extreme sport, I don't see much of that consistency anywhere. So
No.
that is,
Here's your next big up. So when you got in, it was so stagnant in girls skiing. Like the most stagnant. I was in since day one. I saw it. People realized you did like you had all the ads going back to the ad idea. So you still have enough representation for your sponsors. You don't need to win. Why? Because winning wasn't a good way to make money. There's not a lot of contests, but you can make ads and get some smile, do a lifestyle shoot, get one segment in a movie. So when you came in, I was so stoked on you because you inspired that whole like Kelly Silderu, and everyone because everyone had to finally step their game up. Everyone was getting a paycheck until you got in. It was okay, you know. Like I watched Sarah. Everyone in pipe had to beat Sarah from 2003, like for a decade. Everyone in slopestyle had to beat Sarah 2002 for until you. And like so, this is I'm talking crazy years right now. And so for the fact that you came in and made a bunch of people like either have to step their game up or go ski the big mountain or not be part of the sport anymore, etc. Like you did this. And like the next generation, like from Kelly to all these other girls, there's no reason they would have to step their game up if it wasn't for you. So another super duper big up yourself because there's no one that Sarah, you're an icon, you're an idol, your foundation, but like where you were able to push a group. Sarah created an idea that girls could get into a sport. You said, girls, now you have to be better than you already thought you were. Where, you know what I mean? And that part's important because you always can be better. And we see it as guys a lot because there's a million guys around us. But the point is, you're never competing against someone else. You're competing against yourself. And because you brought that mentality in, just like Sarah, it was epic. So thanks, Kaya. I enjoyed that
Thanks.
for a long time.
That's a beautiful compliment. Thank you very much. That's really very kind. Thank you.
Yeah, because it was obvious, you know, like to be able to six-peat or something, like back to like so many things. Like it showed the fact that people needed to step their game up, and no one was searching themselves until it was like a 9-year-old.
it's
Right?
an
9-year-old had to come out and search themselves.
Yeah.
Pick up Kelly, you wicked.
True. And yeah, here we were watching, and I'm gonna pull it up again. The first ever woman switch 10 in a contest performed to the perfection. How did you approach this one? Can you talk about like your state of mind? Because you didn't necessarily have to do that to win. I don't think at that point you were already on top.
Yeah. So I had landed it once at the Nine Queens in Austria, Nico's event, the spring before, and I was at XGames. We have 3 runs, so I was in third place. I was dropping last, so I was like, everyone had already gone, and I had tried cab nine, on the bottom jump, and I like kept dragging. I don't know, I just wasn't getting it right. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for the 10, and everybody at the bottom was like, trying to like, I don't know, get some info out of me. And I was just like, I don't know, like just like keeping it quiet. I got to the top, saw my coaches, saw my dad, like still didn't want to tell anybody. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone I'm going for the 10. I'm just going to go for the 10. And yeah, just like visualized it twice. Cause I would always visualize twice, no more. Just like get it and then don't overthink it, trust it. And yeah, I just went for it and I did it. And so that was the second time I ever landed it.
And what year was that, Kai?
What year? 2012. It was the year
So
Sarah
the
passed,
first time you landed it was for the Solomon ad in 2006?
No, oh my gosh, no. Oh, I thought what you were talking about was the New Zealand Open. So the Solomon ad was a cab 7, not a 10.
Oh, wow. My brain is blown away by you, I guess. Made that shit up.
No, but so I had done a cab 10 at the New Zealand Open, but I didn't land it. I thought that's what you were referencing. So I'm sorry I didn't correct you.
No, I was totally thinking that Solomon ad from Mammoth, I think. Or was it from New Zealand?
New Zealand, yeah, Chris O'Connell.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was actually, speaking of Sarah, it was at Nine Queens. She was there. This is right before, several months before she had her injury. And I remember she called me out. She was like, come on, like, just do the 10, just try it. Like, you can do this. Like, you're being a chicken, basically. And I was like, okay, well, I can't, like, if she's going to call me out, I have to try. And so that was what prompted it, with Sarah's egging me on. So, and then she had passed just like a couple weeks before X Games that year when I landed it. So I feel like she was there, in the start gate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good person to have around, someone that's just like sympathetic and also wants for other people to succeed, which is not necessarily all through the case in the sport. So definitely
Totally.
big up Sarah. And I feel like you were like that as well with other women. So big up for that. Yeah. So like through the research also, like you've been on so much mediatic platforms, like large ones. I had no idea like how much interviews you've given. None quite as big as giving flowers here with Iberg and I. But you keep it cool, calm, collect. Like I was really amazed by your presence on these shows. Did you ever do some practice for that behalf? Or for that matter?
I don't think so. Not really. I mean, later on in my career, I had Red Bull would put us through some media training, but I think I skied for a long time, and I think things took off quickly. And so I've been in the media, like I've had so much experience in the media, and it's funny because I used to be extremely shy, very, very shy before I became a professional skier. And I think just over the years, my fears just got worn down, and I felt very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Well done.
I want to know, going back right before that question, who'd you ski with the most? Like through your career? Like who is your Batman, Robin kind of shit?
I mean, Kim Lamar is my homegirl, always will be. I wouldn't say that we skied the most together throughout my career, just because we trained out of different areas. I was in Mammoth. I skied with Christy a lot, Christy Leskinen. She was in Mammoth a lot. I skied with a lot of the snowboard chicks, Jamie. But yeah, Kim, out of the skier girls, Kim was my homegirl. We just had injuries that kind of the timing wasn't always right. But if we could find ourselves in the same start gate, we were definitely each other's support. And also Ashley Battersby, one of the OGs, she was my homegirl, still is. I just was a bridesmaid at her wedding. Made some great connections in life and skiing. But yeah, Ashley Battersby, Christy, and Kim, I would say.
Who pushed you the most out of like all the people that you rode with your snowboard? Because I mean, like when you're at such a high level, like, and I'm imagining you with these girls in that time, like for sure you're pushing them. You know, like the funness and the like support is there for you, but like I know Jamie maybe was at a high level like yourself. But like, did you have anyone that you're like, holy fuck, I got my game up?
I mean, I skied, like, there's always guys around skiing, you know. There was a pretty good crew in Mammoth. You know, the first summers in New Zealand, I remember, like, TJ was there, Nelson, like, I mean, everybody, right? Everybody goes. I was a big fan of Yoon and TJ, so those are the two guys I really remember. But yeah, just, like, watching those guys, skiing with them, obviously doing tougher tricks, so that like definitely fueled me a lot. And watching a lot of video segments of mostly guys, that's also kind of how I learned. I learned a lot, I think, watching ski.
What was your favorite Quebec skier, guy or girl, when you got into it?
My favorite skier, the girl was Sarah.
Quebecer.
And sorry?
Quebecer. Guy or girl?
So when I got into skiing, I was a huge fan of you, which is funny, kind of looking back. TJ also, Yoon Olsen.
Good.
Yep. And TJ, I was a big fan of TJ. Yeah, you know, a Canadian guy killing it. I think I don't know when he won the US Open, but he was like really he was hot back then, like hot. I mean, you know, just like
good
skier.
No, but my question was, who was your favorite Quebecer?
Oh, Quebecer. Sorry, I wasn't tuning in.
Because you come from a legend province, and like you're the legend woman, you're the queen of Quebec, like, highest level. Like you have so much royalty in your province, it's fucking nuts.
I know this province is fucking nuts. I don't understand it. I think it's because we learn on ice. I think that's probably why.
And you speak French, so you all have to love each other because no one
fucking crazy. It's crazy.
You have lots of reasons of epicness.
I mean, you know what? I can't say that I was really in tune with the Quebec scene. No disrespect to those guys at all. I think like JF, JP, I knew of those guys, but not so well because they were like a little too like
old.
Oh yeah, older, you know? And so I was more in tune with like the current guys, and those guys weren't super current at the time. So I don't have a favorite. I'm sorry.
So did you guys ever how old are you?
Phil and I?
How old are you?
Oh, how old am I? Well, I'm 34.
How old? And Phil, you're 34,
33. Yeah. So we connect, like, to piggyback on your point earlier, Kaya, of you connecting with the men that were pushing you. You put yourself in a situation, or I don't know, maybe you could fill us in on how the connection with Level 1 comes about in a life.
Yeah, so I was with Skull Candy working with team manager was Jimbo Oregon, and he was encouraging me to reach out to Level 1 because Skull Candy was a sponsor. So I remember on my GoPro filming like a 5-minute like, hey guys, like my name's Kaya, like whatever, an intro, just expressing like my interest, like my great interest, just saying how much of an honor it would be. And so I sent them like a demo with that, and they ended up getting back to me, and they invited me on some trips to film, and then also Orage, which we skied on together. Phil was also heavily involved with Level 1, and so that was also a connection I think that helped me out.
So then, yeah, that's when we connect kind of in my memory most for the first time. So you put yourself in an urban environment and we're definitely not like undermining the sizes of the feature for you, you know, we're like doing our agenda, going about like life as if we weren't like with a woman with us, and you stepped up to every single thing that we hit as well. So I feel like that
I
is
tried.
remarkable. I commend you for it, but also like that's like to put yourself in a situation with people that have like naturally easier abilities to do stuff and in a gnarly territory was very courageous. So can
Thank
you
you.
take us in your mindset at that point being with us? Was it ever like, did you put pressure on yourself, or was it natural just for you?
My mindset was I was shooting my pants most of the time. Very intimidated, very scared, but that's also kind of the nature of a lot of the feature, like the nature of, I don't know, progressing, right? And challenging yourself. So I definitely remember being intimidated by a lot of the features. But I think just watching you guys dominate them basically, or like do your trickery, was just like good fuel for my fire, good inspiration, and like showed me it's possible, it can be done. And one of my guiding principles was always like, well, if these guys can do it, like, why can't I, kind of thing. And so that really was helpful for me. And I think also you guys were really, I just remember you guys, like, thank you so much for being just, I don't know, very patient with me, very encouraging. So it was like also very helpful that you guys in particular were on that trip, because I think you helped me out a lot.
Pleasure. Well, for us, it wasn't no different. Like I was saying, that we played the same agenda as if we were just JF and I. So you were really easy to be around, and also your work ethic was there. So it was just like easy peasy.
Yeah, man. Great.
Yeah, and even on one spot, like on one of the rails, I remember like you definitely like helped me out on some shit. This rail, actually, the down rail with a little bit of a hole or a gap. This guy,
Oh yeah.
I was trying nollie on, and I felt pretty good about what I had. And I was like, I asked you like, how was my nollie? And you told me like, it's could be better, I think. And I was like, kind of like shook at the time of like being told like, oh, it's not that good when I thought I was good. And then I had to step up, which I am happy I was told, because often like sometimes I can be indulgent, overly indulgent, or the other way around. But that's really nice to have someone giving you the right time of day on the spot. So
Shit,
thank
oh,
you
I
for
don't
that.
remember that. I'm glad
No,
it
that's
worked
so
out.
good.
Cool. Good.
So my
Yeah,
question,
it was a good trip. It was a great trip.
when you did iTrip, so I watched that segment today, and we're searching for that, and that was hard to find. Found it on down days. But how do you not? Is there no drive to do film at all? Like when you do a segment, like you never like go back and like, man, I remember what I did on rollerblade. I watched all these other kids doing this in ski movies. I fucking be better than like, or I want to try. Like, why didn't you?
I mean, I loved it. I loved filming, but I really also loved competing. I loved traveling on the circuit. And I found it really difficult to do both. I just found it really difficult to maintain. Yeah, it's a full-time commitment. It's anyone who films street, like, I mean, or competing, but like street is like a lot of work.
I'm just
And
competition schedule 2010. So to put it in perspective, anyone though watching, that's the year they added 2x. So all of a sudden now you have Aspen and Teen. You got a do tour, 3 stops in a do tour. That's just do tour next game. You're 5 weeks of your whole week. And so now you add in US Open, or not US Open anymore, but all the other shit, like it's over. I think World Cup was starting then too, right?
yeah, I don't remember the particular years, but it was back to back to back to back, like very little time. And then yeah, it's just hard to maintain both. And so I did choose competing more. But it's crazy. Like, yeah, I always had rails in my mind. And like, even to this day, like, and I mean, more because of like some head stuff, some injuries to my head. I can't really do sport anymore, but I still like I'm always on ledges, rails, like still thinking about tricks I could do. Like that stuff never leaves you. It's crazy.
Because you would have been the funnest like urban segment. Like so like when Kelly started, like she was young, right? Remember she did the urban stuff? I wrote her a message when she was like 10 or something. I was like, man, can you just please always do urban? I know you're gonna give it up for 2 years. And like I knew what the formula is for you guys, but like it's so fun. It's such a privilege to see because opportunity is more beneficial for a woman to do contests, to travel, to have opportunity for money, exposure, and they like man, the injuries are like urban is just nuts. Like who wants to like sponsor you?
It's hard. It's a hard way, and so I commend it. You know, it's
Who's the dopest urban girl skier there is?
who is the dopest?
Yeah, in your opinion.
I mean, it's Kim. It's Kim Lamar. Yeah.
She had a 270 onto the was it the whatever. I remember she had one flip that was the most epic, the big long trail or something.
I don't know. I actually can't like. I'm not really referencing any particular segments. Like I don't think she ever filmed like a full segment, or I could be wrong. But I don't know. Just like thinking of her rail arsenal, her tricks. Like to me, she's like the best female rail skier, at least from my time. You know. But I remember I was
no, I'm saying no.
watching Mary Martineau
get your
in
time.
level 1.
I want to know, like, do you watch any ski?
I watch some skiing. Yeah.
So for
not
urban,
as much as I used to.
Urban is a hard category for girls. Like, but like, so what I'm saying, because I try to watch some, I try, but like who's the dopest? I want to watch her.
I got you, Iberg.
Yeah,
it's Taylor Lundquist for sure.
You got.
Yeah, as far as women skiing in the street, that's her right now.
She reminds me of like the ski Jill Perkins.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That would be Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor's dope. Taylor's super dope. Good style, really good style.
Good call, Phil.
Yeah, man,
thanks, Phil.
I'm here. What else is epic? Yeah, one thing that is really monumental that you did, once again, coming back from injury like a monster, is in 2014, I believe, X Games, 4 months or 5 months out of knee reconstruction. You come back in the game. Let's hear about that process. First of all, how do you get back on snow that quick and feel good?
It was crazy. So I blew my knee trying to get to the Olympics, basically 6 months to the day before the Olympic event. I blew my knee out in Hood, and very familiar feeling. So I knew right away that I'd done it. And of course, I want to make it to the Olympics. Like this is a big goal of mine. So I remember I went back to LA, which is where I was living, and I was scrambling, just trying to find a doctor to go see in Canada, like what to do, where to go, what are my options, calling Red Bull, calling Team Canada. And I met with a couple doctors, I think, in Vancouver, who said, like, it's not possible to go to the Olympics. And I thought, it has to be, like, we have to try. And I couldn't find anyone on board for that. But then I met Dr. Litchfield, who was the Alpine, the doctor for the Alpine skiers in Canada. And although he had never performed the surgery, he said he could give it a try on me if I agreed. And basically he was going to take a cadaver ligament intertwine it with the Lars, which is the rubber, which again he'd never done before, but he was like, "This is your shot. I don't know if you're gonna make it, but we can try." And if anyone's familiar with like Lars ligaments versus like a hamstring graft, like which is typical of ACL reconstruction, you can come back sooner. You still need months of recovery, but it comes back sooner because the ligament's rubber. It's not like a tendon borrowed or a muscle borrowed from somewhere else in your body that needs time to kind of regenerate. And so I was like, cool, like if this is my only shot, let's give it a go, you know? And so I got into surgery right away, obviously, and moved out to Vancouver, worked with a guy named Damien Maroney, who works a lot with like Mark McMorris and some other guys on Red Bull. And yeah, just like lived and breathed the rehab, dedicated my life to it, and did a lot of visualization, like a lot of mental work. And then, 4 months post-op, I was back on snow, which is crazy, because I'd done ACL reconstructions before, and that was like 8 months. You know, this is really time cut in half.
How many surgeries did you have previous to this, knee surgeries?
This was my third.
Okay.
This was my third, yeah. And so, it was crazy. I mean, to be skiing at 4 months was absolutely insane, and it felt pretty good. Like it felt good. I felt strong, and I had great support, you know, in rehab. And then 4.5 months was X Games, which was also crazy, you know.
You're telling me it felt good.
Yeah, I felt good.
Like your knee felt like good. It wasn't like you telling like you didn't like go home and just I got this.
No, you know what? But subsequently, like after some solid wear on it, it hasn't held up super well. Like it's a compromise I've made. You know, it got me to the Olympics, which in the end was a bust for me. But it hasn't and I think that we always knew it wasn't a sure deal that it was going to last, and it hasn't.
But it still got you back in 4.5 months to win X Games.
That's right, 4.5 months, and so of course, I'm at X Games and like.
And wait, let's also make it bigger. How many X Games in a row previous did you win leading up to this point?
7.
So she won 7 X Games previously, won fucking low knee, 4.5 months recovery, and fuck the Olympics, Kaya. Like, yo, fuck the Olympics.
I know, fuck the Olympics.
Seriously. Like, like whatever you won life, you won the shit. Like, everyone knows it. Olympics don't mean shit. You came back you made it it was kind of stupid. Like when Kevin beat Tanner after he three-peated, and then Kevin went and three-peated because of team. But then you made it you know what? It's stupid that there's 2, but I'll go win it for 3 straight years. So you just don't question it. You know what I mean? You were the only person that made 2 X Games legit. It's fucked up. So big up yourself on that. That's
thank you. Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's one of my proudest moments for sure. Is just I think what helped me so much at that X Games was not having high expectations. I don't know, this knee could bust out any minute. And it was just just go for it, but just keep it cool, keep it calm, and. Yeah, it was incredible. Definitely one of my more proud moments to get my 8th gold medal in that state, in that situation.
8.
It's crazy.
In 4 years. 8 X Games medals, 8 golds in 4 years. So no one can top it. No one can top it. Hey, what year was the double, Phil?
I don't know what it was, but that double is fucking wicked.
We're going straight to it now.
So ill.
This we watched on repeat for a while today. And we're going to show fucking all you people on New Schoolers the dopest shit. Focus on Phil's screen, tap on it. Because this is fucked up. This podium's at the Olympics in 2022, so you know. It's wicked, Kaya.
Thank you.
What year is this?
This was 2017, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, 2017.
Yeah.
So
I landed it in
after
Whistler for the first time. And better than this, a lot better. But I landed it only once. Then at X Games, tried it, And yeah, it was a great time. It's something I wanted to do. I wish I'd done it sooner, but it is what it is. And yeah, it's definitely like something I wanted to do before I retired, or had to do, was to do a double in competition.
Huge accomplishment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the dopest style. Like like when we watched it over and over today, going over all this stuff. Like, as I said, it could podium at Olympics this year. But then at the same time, why we do this show and who we talk to, it's about style. And if we just judge on style, it wins. Then it's not a podium, it's a winner. And so like, because there is those girls right now, really dope girls on big air. But at the same time, the style is still something that an individual has, not just you learn off one trick. So like, when I watched that, I guess I didn't remember seeing you do it or ever see you do it. I don't fucking know, but it's wicked, Kaya. Like to be able to do that, because like people are learning muscle memory on takeoff, and like you took how many years of a switch 10 before you did a switch double, whatever that rotation was. And so my point is, that's why there was style in it, because it was something you didn't just water ramp on that rotation with 2 flips for a summer.
Totally. So anyone who knows me too, I was like, I'm not a flipper at all. Everybody makes fun of me because I can't even backflip properly, or I don't want to. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, a lot of definitely wasn't just like a spin on the trampoline to take to snow kind of thing.
No, it was so fun to watch. Like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, come on, man. Do that like Tom Wallace stomp. And then I'm just going to throw my phone on the ground. I see it first, and it's slow motion. So it's like, I don't know. But it's the illest shit.
Thank you.
So
this is the illest shit, too. This axis on the 540 rotation is insane. Like, definitely something I want to get into.
What do you
I don't know how you do it. That's
is,
something you have pretty naturally.
What is that axis to you?
I guess we call it a biological, a bio, probably.
Yeah, that's what I would call it too. But people have always asked me like, what is that rotation? What do you call it? And I think it's a bio 5.
The Kaya roll, or the
Kaya
Turski roll.
The turkey roll. They joked because the
they
clever
call
people,
it that?
they call me Turkey. Yeah, I don't know. I think the coaches
prove wrong.
The Super Pro coach has confirmed it's a bio. Chris Turpin, big up, is here.
That's right. Hey, Chris Turpin.
Oh yeah, I ain't seen that. Turpin says it, so be it.
Yep, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And bouncing around now in life right now, there's a parallel between this show and what you do. Can you talk about the Studio La Fleur?
Yes, I can. So I work with flowers now. I've always been very artistic, and even when I skied, like I would travel with a little like craft case and be beading and doing other things. I love it. It's always kept me grounded. And since retiring, I've studied psychology, which I love. I'm on break from school right now because I just have some post-concussive stuff that I'm still trying to figure out and dial before I can go to school full time. But I have gotten back into the arts. I work with flowers. I'm back in Montreal. I moved back here, and I preserve flowers. And I basically my goal is to create one-of-a-kind pieces, like furniture, functional furniture, but really kind of statement pieces for the house. The idea is really like I'm obviously I love nature. I've always loved being outdoors. I think there's so much we are surrounded by that we never even tune into or actually see, even if we walk by every day. And I think, obviously a lot of people love flowers and appreciate flowers, but I still think even just the weed, growing out of the crack on, in the pavement in front of the house, those little things, so many little details
Little details. Little details. Kaya. Chris Turpin. You think she'll come back? Looks like she wants to.
It's crazy. I don't see Chris on the chat here.
I love when you Quebecers stay up till 10:30 at night.
Oh no, that seems like
No.
that seems like it's battery, dude. May have a battery issue here.
Yeah. We'll give her a minute. We're gonna just talk about what else what. So those who are tuning in, what we have right now is a show called Giving Flowers. Phil Casabon,
And Eric Iberg.
Yeah, and we're talking to Kaya Turski right now. If you don't know who this is, she's a queen of the twin tip generation. Click on the little link below and learn more. Hopefully she's charging her phone. Hopefully she'll be back. Hopefully it'll be awesome. But do your research on her. Well, we're trying to track her back down. You miss amazing show, but she'll still be here. Kaya. And if anyone wants to call in and tell an awesome Kaya story, feel free. We can answer calls here at New Schoolers. So we've invited her, but yeah, her phone died. We never had a phone die before. So Phil,
what's the wackest thing in skiing right now, Iberg?
Wackest thing in skiing. Wackest thing in skiing. There's no characters. Like who's ill, man? Like who's ski boss? Who's Edolo? Who's B Dog? Who the Booze Boys? Who the fucking Chronic crew? Like I don't know. I mean, there's some small crews, but like who's the crew that's dominating? Who's the crew that's getting the bag? So the wackest thing is there's clones getting paid not what they deserve because they're not being an individual. That's what's whack. So,
yeah, the problem is the individuals aren't getting paid really because they're not necessarily in the competitive circle, so it's tough to make weight, I feel like, because there are those individuals for sure. I think of Easy Panda, for instance, Noah, Antiolila, Jake Majot, the Zoot Space crew.
but the point is, they need to organize some unique level at the highest level. So those guys are ill as fuck. Kai is back. Kai, we just tangented.
So sorry, guys.
You're good. We back.
Cool.
So, did you pick a few flowers since you left?
No, I didn't, but I just wanted to urge everybody to really look outside. And my point of my art is to just like highlight the everyday. And so if you're so inclined, go out and check out my Instagram. It's wonderful. It's called studio.delafleur. Maybe I'll write it in the comments.
You should. And do you have it on your Kaya page?
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, it's in my bio. So
because we got Kaya pinned in the comments, so you can go to Kaya's page and go into her bio. Because man, like you got Kaya as your name on Instagram.
I know, I do.
Every time I see that, I'm like, whoa. Do you know how many people wish they probably could have that handle? Big thing.
It's actually crazy. I think like in Indonesian, it means rich. And that's just like one example, but when I went to Indo, so many people stopped me. They're like, Kaya. Anyway, I get tons of messages every day, like asking if I'll sell my name, Will I sell my name?
What's the highest bidder?
So a lot of Kayas, a lot of Kaya. I don't even know if it's a name. I think it's also just like an adjective. And anyway.
What's the highest person? What has anyone offered you an amount?
I mean, people often will be like, "Oh, I'll buy it for 10 G's or whatever," and you're like, "Yeah, whatever." Like, it's not going to happen. I wouldn't sell it. I think that's inappropriate. 2, I want to keep it. 3,
so you don't have a number. If someone was to come with you, like if I was like the biggest ganja producer, I have a ganja. I'm a billionaire. I say blank check. What are you writing on the blank check?
I would consider $100,000.
You're so cheap. It's awesome. I want to take money. I'll take
You know why?
$100,000.
Because I'll
It's
tell you
gone
why
in
I'm
taxes
cheap.
in a half a year.
I've always felt, look, I'll be honest. I've always felt a little pretentious. I've always felt it a bit pretentious that I have the only Kaya, you know? And I certainly can't be the most important Kaya in the world. And so I've always felt a little like
I
imposter
disagree.
syndrome, you know?
I disagree with that comment.
I mean,
You
thank
are
you.
the most
You
important
know,
Kaya
you're really,
because you're the only Kaya Turski in the whole fucking world. So you obviously are the most important Kaya Turski in the world. So even though it doesn't say Turski at the end, it's still that handle represents one individual, and that is you
true.
out of 7 billion motherfuckers.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You've really been pumping me up tonight. I appreciate it.
that's the point of this show.
For real.
So,
Funny.
So you want to get into, I guess, a few of these Eric already asked, but some rapid fire question. Here we got favorite inline skater, women and men.
Ooh. You know what? I have to go back to my roots and Mike Murda Johnson,
Ooh,
Rashard Johnson,
yes.
Chris Haffey, Brian Aragon. Okay.
Tangent.
Yeah.
Did you skate with Nikki Adams ever?
Yeah, I skated with Nikki back in the day. I learned around Nikki, actually.
Was he a D structure guy?
Yeah, I think he was on D in the early days.
Because, that's pretty wicked. His X Games champion that you got to skate with in Montreal as a little girl.
For sure. He was a hero. He was definitely someone I looked up to.
Big up Nikki Adams, man. I don't care where you are, what's going on. Man, big up yourself.
I think it's a bad situation, actually.
Bummer. Well, if he's still alive, I'm stoked. Forward, I said.
Yeah.
For real. We want to give him flowers. Favorite ski movie?
Favorite ski movie? Oh my gosh. I'm blanking. I have to pass. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's say idea. Shout out to Iberg. Favorite rollerblade movie?
I don't even remember. Maybe Killer Boots? Let's say Killer Boots.
Oh.
Wait, what? What's going on
the
screen?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Oh.
I'm sitting in the car.
I don't care. It's Yannick, the motherfucking hedgehog. I just had to
Nice.
cover because, you came up in conversation. I figured we have Kaya. Now I got 3 Quebecers on the motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
B is on this bitch.
I was just answering that Nikki was on the structure.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, Yannick.
Hi, Kaya. I wanted to give a little. Kaya said we met at the D-Jam, but the first time we met, I don't know. She probably does not remember because I think she was probably like 9 or 10 years old. And it was on there was like a street event, rollerblade street event in Montreal. And I was with Dan Laroche, and that was the first time I remember you doing soul grinds on the big curb going down. And I was like, who is that little girl doing soul grinds on a curb that's taller than she is?
That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
MTL Classic? Look.
No, some little event on Crescent Street, I think.
Yeah, I think it was I think it was more of a demo or something.
Yeah.
I don't even. Yeah.
Oh, the classic, though. Those were good days.
And Yannick's the rollerblading legend. This is a sick thing for me right now to look at this because I'm like, all right, Yannick was a sponsored pro. Fucking from Montreal.
Yeah.
Yo, man, this is big. Man caught a 9-year-old and fucking the sponsored pro song. Sponsored pro in the bottom right. No shit. No. Hell yeah.
I guess we have similar backgrounds at least with the rollerblade and the skiing. Yep. Kaya was lucky to skip the skiboarding part.
That's true. She didn't do that. That would have been fun. Do you guys ever ride the ski boards with the grind plates on the side?
Is that the ones that Lion made? Jay Leventhal made that, didn't he?
He had the bottoms where you could grind, but like these were like mid '90s shit, and they actually like metal fucking L's, so you could like latch on the rails, like on the inside of your boot.
For some reason, I feel like the boots. Okay, I feel like Jay also made some skis or maybe some prototypes with like a groove or something.
Possible, man. Well, Yannick, what other than fucking seeing Kaya fucking rock a soul grind at 9 years old on rollerblades in Quebec, what do you think's the dopest thing that Kaya brought to skiing as a Quebecer and as a skier yourself?
I would say I 100% agree with you guys that she definitely changed slope style when she came in. It was kind of like, it was Sarah and maybe a couple other girls, and it was, I feel like it was not stagnant, but nothing was moving much, and she just showed up and started doing it. At that time, even the girls were not doing a lot of grinds, and a lot of, like, it was mostly jumps, and I would say like 360, 540, 720s. And then she just showed up and did the actual full slope style, which was dope to see.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the fun part, Kaya. We get to just call random people because we got Turpin on here too. He's been lurking. We got so many fun people that are on right now. Fucking yeah, Yannick. Good to see you twice a year, man.
Yeah, I'll see you guys. All right, good job, Kaya. See ya.
Take care, Yannick.
I gotta go in a few minutes, guys, unfortunately.
No worries. We've kept you so long.
Yeah, thanks for staying on for so long. You gonna go pick some flowers? Is this your time to go in the streets and just like chop, 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 chop?
No, well, I don't steal people's flowers, but I do work at night. So I go up to the studio and I like to work at night. It's like my quiet time.
True, when all the world is asleep. A part of the continent, at least.
Yep. Finish the rapid questions.
All right. Best style of all time, women skier.
I love Mathilde's style. I love Kim's style. I love Michelle Parker's style. Kelly has great style. So those girls.
Worst style.
I can't answer that. That's just mean.
It is mean.
Okay. Some people do. All right, favorite jump trick?
Favorite jump?
Yep.
Switch fork 5. Just nice and floaty. Best feeling ever.
Epic. Well, I wish you that the concussion symptoms will alleviate and you can get a switch cork 5 up into the air sooner than later. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us tonight, Kaya. What you did for skiing is never can be overstated, and I'm glad you're still around, kicking it and accepting to do these things.
Thank you so much. Like it's been, as a fan, it's been a pleasure. Like, and as someone who loves skiing, like where it started, where it's going, like, and what you brought to it, like, it's a really big deal what you did. So you should know that. You should appreciate that in yourself. And if you step back and look at it, like, you killed it. Like, not only did you inspire people, but like, you made sure a whole sport went forward. So more than just what you did for yourself, you did for a lot of people and sport. So
thank you so much. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And thanks so much for having me. And also, like, what you guys are doing for the community. It's really, really cool. So thanks a lot for allowing me to come on your platform.
Oh, yeah, Kaya. Give thanks.
Yes.
Have a wonderful night. Enjoy your flowers.
Thanks. Cheers, guys.
Peace.
Button. We say peace, Kaya. Ciao. She left. Oh, they can get rid of themselves. Man, epic.
100,000 for the name. You gonna do it, Iberg, when you get $1 trillion?
No, but I just figure everything has a price in this world, though. I just thought it would be funny, like, because, I mean, fuck, I just read a Forbes of the guy at Cookies, like, he's a billionaire, man, selling weed, like, what's 100,000 to him if you fucking own the handle Kaya, if you want to start a strand named Kaya? Just thinking, if I was a billionaire, I'd fucking...
How much for the yellow 1080s on your behind your left shoulder? Shit.
They dope. Those are Belanger Pro models. The dopest part about the Belanger Pro models is these are the backcountry versions with his graphic they didn't sell. That's why they got the Bula and D-Structure. Then we got Jason Stons. And then the Solomon mogul skis from the 90s because she was all Solomon. So I was like, yo, go back your Solomons. Big up Kyle.
Yo, man. How much for the cap?
The cap? This was the most expensive Twins hat I ever bought in my life.
No, we don't want to know how much. I don't want to know how much you paid for it. I want to know how much you'd sell it now.
I won.
No price.
No, I lie. There's always a price for everything. I'll take 500.
Oh shit.
Yeah, minimum. Like everything, like it's material. Like I have like dirty Twins hats, man. I'm cool with that.
You heard it, people. $500 for Eric Iberg exclusive.
But that's dope. I've been looking for the yellow and the green for fucking like 20 years. So I mean, like maybe I'd even do that. I don't give a fuck. But yes, I'd take money if people are offering. Why would they? That'd be weird. So.
True.
Well, Kaya was awesome. Give thanks for the guys that watched. If anyone watched the whole time, you guys are amazing. Because Kaya's amazing. B-Dog amazing. Do we know who we're doing next week?
No, it's always a freestyle. We're open to your suggestion, although our list is extensive. We got people amongst people because a lot of great people are part of this sport and contributed in monumental ways. So it's not going to be hard to find someone. But
who should we try next week?
To follow up, I really want to do Crichton at some point.
Crichton just had a baby or is having one. So, like, Turbin said that, right, when you said it, too. So we'll get Crichton on here. He's having...
I'm not seeing...
Oh, you're missing out. So Crichton will do... I was thinking, at this time right now in New Zealand, it's morning time. Maybe we should go Jossie Wells or something.
Woo! Jossie Wells.
That's all I think about. I was like, when I thought about it today, I started singing that song, and I was like, what do those girls do now?
Yeah, I gotta find that tune if we do Jossie, but fuck yeah, I'm way up for Jossie. He's the fucking boss.
So, well, that was awesome, man. So give thanks, Phil. Like, are you gonna go sleep a little earlier tonight? Fucking nice.
Yeah.
Fucking big up Kaya. Big up everyone watching. Turbin, man, you awesome. Yannick B, you awesome. All you guys, Candy, we're working into this. We got like 60 names on our list. So there's no worries. Like, as you hear, we have feedback. Only goal of this show is make sure we document the awesomeness of our friends while they're still around and the people that did awesome shit. So we'll do what we can. We'll always try to better it if we can. But right now, we got some time Wednesday nights. That's it. And we got internet connection.
True, making the best of it. Thank you for your time, Rick. It was great. Thanks
everyone. Have a wonderful night. Peace.
Love y'all.